First of all, I want us to bow our heads in prayer because everything we do starts and stops with God. We want to thank Him for His mercies. We want to thank Him for keeping us here today, for bringing us here. We want to dedicate this program to Him, and we ask Him to give us all the messages that we need to receive in the formats we need to receive them. We ask Him to bless our families, to bless our homes, to bless our children especially, because it is for them that we dedicate this time and this hour and all this effort. We ask Him to bless us, to open our eyes, our ears, our mouths, our lips, our hearts, that we may receive His message today, and we may receive His blessing in abundance today. We ask this through Christ our Lord. Amen. Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Amen. Okay, so let me just tune down the music and we go. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Godly Parenting Summit. This is week 5, and we're all about designing our parenting journey. Today, well, just 1 second, please. I have a bit of technical drama. Okay. This is week 5. We're designing our parenting journey, and we have just one more week. We have learned who a parent is. We've learned about parenting responsibilities and roles and boundaries. We've learned about parenting in the 21st century. We've learned about effective communication in parenting, and now we're all about designing our parenting journey. I'm sure you guys can all see that we're progressive. You know, first of all, it was all inquiries. Who exactly is a parent? What are our roles? How do we even parent in this era? Now that we know how to parent, how do we even communicate? And now we're talking about designing. So we're putting it all together. And by next week, we're going to be talking about parenting with the father. What's that all about? Well, stay tuned till next week and you find out. Now, if you've been here, you would know that I am Ife Okafor. I am your convener for this program. I'm a wife and a mom of 4 children. I'm a parenting strategist. That's also another term for coach. And I help to raise wholesome and godly families. I'm also the co-founder of a platform called the Digital Parenting School. And we help parents and guardians with skills and knowledge and tools that they need to become comfortable and proficient in this very, digital world. Yes, someone says I'm AKA Tech Mama. Thank you. Yes, I am a Tech Mama. And you all too can become Tech Mamas and Papas. But we'll talk about that at the end of the program because we are coming up with something on the digital parenting platform. Now, I'm also a certified management consultant and a certified IT professional. I'm an author of a book called Parenting with the Father. Did you notice that that's the title of our program for next week? So you need to know that I'm an expert on this. And I love mentoring youth in my spare time, and I enjoy reading, dancing, and gardening. Now, our speaker for this week, I don't even know what words to use. She's very multi-talented. And I've known her for over 35 years, but I'm still in awe of her. Our speaker this week is Brenda Unwavoho. Brenda, I hope I didn't murder your name, but for ease of pronunciation, she's also known as Brenda Unu. She's creative and she's a vivacious woman with a heart for God. She's a certified architect, so that's her 9 to 5. Having been active in practice for since about 2004, she's built and designed several buildings, some you may even know, including multi-story buildings, personal residences, and offices. She's presently the general manager of Sterling Realities Development Company, where she handles real estate, the real estate portion of the parent business. Now, she's also a talented writer, and she keeps her audience glued to her social media pages with her blogs. She has written 10 books, like 10, complete 10. Most of which are available on Amazon, and her books include a book on architecture, some adult fiction, and some children's books. So if you have kids and you want really nice books that are educative and fun, Brenda's page is where you need to be. Trust me, I have her books, all her books, and they're all very interesting. When she's not writing, she's designing houses or managing real estate, she's also coaching women. Like, seriously, Brenda, it's enough. Come on, stop intimidating some of us. You are writing, you are designing houses, you are managing real estate, and then you are still coaching women on top. But she coaches women to live their best lives through her self-development programs. She's the convener of the Women's Growth Academy, a group where she trains women to build skills and develop in the love of God and themselves to learn all that is needed to live their best lives. So are you a woman and you want to up your game? Head on to Brenda's page and you will be able to gain access to the Women's Growth Academy. She's also married to her best friend, and together they've been blessed with 4 creative children. She loves to read, listen to music, and travel in her spare time. She hopes to learn to play golf sometime in the future. I don't understand what she means by she hopes to learn to play golf, because I know for a fact that she already plays golf. And she's passionate about the quality of the girl, child, and women's improvement. And she can be reached on Instagram at @brenda.uno. I'm sure many people are already heading on to that page, but please just pay attention for a bit. Take note of her page and you can go there and explore afterwards. And so without much further ado, I bring to you the indefatigable Brenda Uno. Hi, Brenda.
Hello, 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 hello. Hi, everyone. I'm super excited to be here today. And thank you, Ify, for having me. Thank you, Abel. You should stop calling me this mommy Brenda. Thank you, Mr. Abel. Good morning and good evening, everyone, or good morning. Depends on what country you're joining us from. I'm super excited to be here today, and I can't wait to have what we have to share together. So, Ify, let's go.
Let's go. Okay, so screen's coming up.
Okay. Thank you, everyone.
So,
thank you.
We're here. Yeah. Thank you, everyone.
Okay.
Brenda,
so
ready?
Yes, I'm ready. Thank you, everyone. Super excited to be here too. So today, what is our goal for this session? We're going to be asking, what does it mean to design a journey? And the importance of planning our children's lives, and then how do you begin to even design your parenting journey? So 3 very simple goals, and I hope that we'll be able to run through it very quickly and achieve something at the end of this session. So next slide, please.
Coming up.
Okay, so what does it mean to design a journey? To design a journey is, when I saw this topic, first of all, fun fact, I'm going to laugh. I was like, Ify, are we designing houses here? Why did you give me this particular topic, So it was really funny to me. I had to think for a bit, like, okay, no, not design houses, come back. We're talking about designing your parenting journey. So I said, okay, so what does it mean to design a journey? And because I'm a coach and I've also worked on improvement issues with people, I know how to design their paths, I know how to design their goals. So I thought about it in light of that. So, okay, so when we're going to be designing the journey, basically it's the visualization of the process, right? That the person would go through in order to accomplish a goal. So to bring it down to the parenting journey, we're simply saying that design your parenting journey is to sit down, visualize the final destination of your child, and then figure out how they would get there. So sit down and plan it in actual achievable steps. That is how we're going to be doing this today. So let's take a look at more. Next slide.
Okay. Next slide is coming.
So why should we plan our children's lives? Why? For the simple reason that God didn't just drop the children on earth, He dropped them through us. And there's a very strong reason why the children are brought into our lives, and we're told to, you know what, you are their basic caregiver, from the 0 to when they become adults. And some people say that's 18, some say that's 21. I think that you're a parent forever. So basically, planning your children's lives is in the time when they will listen to you, Sha. So let's be saying 0 to 18, because after that time, they may be saying, I'm an adult, sorry, you can't tell me what to do. So what does the Bible say, first of all, about planning our children's lives? This is the Godly Parenting Summit, so it's okay to talk about the Bible. And I'm a Christian, unashamed, and I always say it everywhere. The Bible is our manual, and so anything that you cannot find in the Bible, you'll be struggling with what should be the truth. But the Bible, funny enough, is very, 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 very full, very complete. The other day I was reading Songs of Songs, and I was like, there's even toasting in the Bible. Look at that, So there's everything in the Bible.
Yeah.
So absolutely. So what does it say about planning our children's lives? The Bible says, train up a child. This is a very famous verse. Everybody knows it. Proverbs 22:6. Train up a child in the way he should go, and even when he's old, he will not depart from it. Then when we get to the New Testament, you hear from it. Ephesians says, fathers, do not provoke your children to anger by the way you treat them. Rather, bring them up with the discipline and instruction that comes from the Lord. So you can see that, okay, that do not provoke your children. We don't like to hear that part. But the important part of that verse for me is that you're supposed to bring them up in the discipline and instruction that comes from the Lord. So there's an actual bringing up, there's an actual training of this, an actual, investment in your children's lives that you're supposed to be having. And then Jeremiah 1:5 says, before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. And before you were born, I consecrated you. I appointed you as a prophet to the nations. So that means that, before all of us were born, God knew what we were supposed to be, right? So as a parent, to be able to plan your children's lives effectively, you need to first of all go and seek from their father, because basically you're not really their father or mother. You're just the caregiver, right? Your children are not grandchildren to God. They are children of God. So you are just the caregiver. So when you want to think about their lives and how to help them plan it, you must go and ask the father. Okay, so what did you create this child to be? This one that you gave me, these gifts that you placed in my hands, what exactly do you want them to be? Because one could be a singer, one could be a dancer, one could be a doctor, one could be a lawyer. But if you wanted to push everybody into the same mold, you'd struggle and you'd have frustration. So what else does the Bible say? In Deuteronomy 6:6-7, it says, these commandments that I give you today are to be on your hearts. Impress them on your children. Talk about them when you sit at home and when you walk along the road, when you lie down and when you get up. I mean, this passage is very instructive because God was teaching. This was when God was giving the Israelites his commandments, and he said to them, these commandments I give you should be on your hearts, right? But he also said, impress them on your children. Talk about them when you sit at home and when you walk along the road. So in short, you're supposed to be actively teaching your children about God. So this is another, that speaks to the spiritual planning of your children's lives. All of these Bible passages are selected on purpose. We'll understand a little bit as we get on. The next one says, my frame was not hidden from you when I was made in the secret place. When I was woven together in the depths of the earth, your eyes saw my unformed body. All the days ordained for me were written in your book before one of them came to be. Like I said, God has already known about us before we were born. Now, I'll tell you a little bit about people in the Bible parents in the Bible who actually plan their children's lives, because you may begin to think, just all these new age parenting people are doing, you're stressing us out. No, this is actually biblical. So you remember Abraham, right? We all know the story of Abraham when he was called out from his father's house to say, come and go to the land where I will give you. Now, we know Abraham is a man of great faith. I mean, we know the stories, right? But what was very instructive for me was thank you, Aya, was when Abraham was about to die. He was really old when he had this child. So he knew that he wouldn't be around so long. So he had to leave firm instructions. So he called one of his greatest servants and he said, promise me that when my son is going to be ready for marriage, you will go and find him a wife from my father's house. So he had already planned the way that his son would go. He knew that they were in a hidden land. He knew that he was literally the only one that believed God in that area, because God had taken him out of his father's land and took him to this place. And he knew that it was not right to be unequally yoked with the heathen people. And so he wanted to be sure that his son, Isaac, was going to continue in the lineage and the promise of God. So he said, please go and pick for my son, a wife from my father's house. And those days, that's how they were able to, preserve their bloodline. And of course, the guy, promised him. And of course, there was plenty of, how the story went. The guy actually did find the wife for him. Now, another person that planned the life of his son, and that reminded me, there was something that I went to Ayo's church today, and there was something that the pastor said today was very instructive. He said that, the most faithful servant is not as powerful as even the most prodigal son. And I just remember how Abraham was about to die, his son was not old enough yet to take over, and he knew that the servant was there. Still, he didn't expect the servant to be his heir. He still gave the servant instructions for the son. And, that just blew my mind afresh. The sons are so important, and that's the sonship that we have with God. Okay, but we'll come back to that. A second example of a father that planned his child's life is David. Now, we all know the story of David, how David was, the man after God's heart. Even with his plenty scorns, we know. But when it was now time, he wanted to build a temple for God. I said, I mean, this beautiful palace, I want to build a temple for the Lord. And God said, no, not you. Your drama is too much. They're not the one that will build my temple. It is your son that will build my temple. And he thought, okay, no problem. My son will build your temple. I mean, I can't be jealous. It's my son. But what David did, David now started to plan for the son to be able to actually achieve his purpose. So David sat down and started to gather all the things, gather all the information, gather all the, and it was instructive. I will find that passage in the Bible and share it with you. It was so instructive how he sat down and planned everything that Solomon needed to do, so that when his time came, he just walked into it. And that is how we're supposed to be planning our children's journeys. We're supposed to be making things easy for them. Right? The Bible says that a man that doesn't leave an inheritance for his children is what? An infidel. So, next slide.
An infidel.
So, what other journeys have you designed before? Now, in case you are not Christian and you think that my Bible examples are too many, let me give you one secular example of somebody that planned their children's lives. So, we all know the famous Elon Musk, right? Like, is contending for one of the richest people in the world. If you read the story of Elon Musk and how he was born, you will know that his mother, as in how he was raised, that his mother was intentional. Even before the buzzword intentional parenting came, the mother was so intentional about. She was a divorcee. She was just left with 3 children. She had nothing, right? But the first furniture she bought in the house where they were able to rent was a computer. She knew what she wanted. She got her children books. She made sure that they read. She made sure that they did things. She knew exactly the life she wanted for her children, even though she was in that poverty, she was in that lack, and she was everything. And today we see the results. We see Elon Musk, someone that was intentionally raised, and we see what he's doing. In fact, all her children are doing excellently.
All her children are actually doing well.
All her children are doing excellent.
Very, very well.
So, I mean, that is to show you that, when you make these things intentional, good children don't happen by accident. We know that good children are given by God. We know that children are a gift from God. But to actually make them successful is an intentional step. And so we're going to be talking about how to design the journey for your parenting so that you end up with successful children. Remember at the beginning I said it's a visualization of the end goal you want and then the steps to get you there. So let's think about it. What other journeys have you designed before? Have you designed your marriage? Did you ever think about maybe your career or your education or businesses that you wanted to say? When people want to start a business, they start with a business plan, right? They sit down and they plan it. They've not even started the business, but they know what they want to achieve. They know what they want to do in 5 years, 10 years. They have a goal. They have, it's all written nicely on paper. So why do you think it's strange to write something on paper when you're talking about your children who are alive, like literally your legacy? Right? Many of us plan our careers when we sit down. Yeah, your biggest asset. Many of us, when we're young, we sit down, we plan ourselves. We say, I want to be a graduate by the age 20 or 22 or something. I want to go to this school. I want to go to that school. I want to do this after I graduate. You have plans, right? Even some young people have plans about their marriage. I want to marry at the age of this time. I want to marry this kind of person. I want to do this in my marriage and that. I want to have this number of children. All of these are plans. All of these are journeys that you can intentionally design, and you probably have already been designing, but it seems a little strange to think about designing your parenting journey. Well, today we're going to make it very simple and make it something that you can relate to. Next slide. So when do you start designing your child's journey? Well, you know how they say that the best time to plant a tree was yesterday, and the next best time is now. So yes, you should have already been designing your children's journey before now, but if you haven't, the next best time is now. So let's get on with it. So we're going to be talking very simply about designing your parenting journey. And here I'm going to show you the how and what to do. So first things first, how do you even start? So like I told you, I'm used to coaching people to achieving goals, right? So I went to bring my 5-step plan that just works with every single goal. And it's very simple, but it looks like, but trust me, it works. So the 5-step plan is very simple. Number one, write it down. So write what down? Write down what you want. Okay? If you can articulate it and you can write it down, then you can do it. You know how they say you cannot feature in a future that you have not seen, right? You love to have this on PhD. I don't understand that. Let me see. Okay, so you can read this again.
So
okay,
someone said, I'd love to have this on PhD, please.
Oh, PDF. Okay, that's what she meant to say. Okay, well, I don't know. We'll talk to Iti about that.
That's what we can promise you. You can get the recordings and available from now all through June, after which there won't be access. Sorry to interrupt you on that, but let's just address this.
Yeah, I advise you guys to take screenshots. Take screenshots if you want.
Take your screenshots. Exactly.
You can take a screenshot of any of the screens. I do that all the time. If I go to classes and there's something the coach is saying that I love, I'm doing screenshot. I don't even wait to ask anybody for PDF. I would have screenshotted the whole slide. Nobody can.
I know, you know me now.
So take screenshots.
I thought we have all the slides by ourselves.
I'm telling you. Okay, so just take your screenshots or any slide that resonates with you, take a screenshot, okay? So the first thing is to write it down. So if you can articulate the vision, you can do it. If you cannot see it, you cannot do it. And there's something about writing. And, some people will say, oh, I'm digital. I like to put it down. Oh, it's okay. If you're digital, it's okay. Write it in your notepad. It's all right. But write it still, okay? Because your memory is too small to hold down everything. What you write down is easy. And then there's a process in the writing. Even though you're typing on your phone or you're writing with your hand on the notepad, there's a process that engages the brain and the fingers that actually helps you to think through it. Okay? So write it down. First things first. So let's say, for example, my parenting plan for one child is to say, okay, go to an Ivy League university, and get a first class. Yeah. So you just write it down. First things first. That's the first. The second step is now to break it down. And by this, I mean expand it. So if you wanted your child to go to an Ivy League university and make it first class, how would this even happen? So maybe your child is just 5 years old. So you know that, first of all, we have to go to primary school. Then we have to go to secondary school. Then we have to write SATs, whatever, enter the university. Then we have to now, pass the thing so much that we have the first class. So it's a step. So you start to write everything down. Okay, so where's my child when she's in primary school? Which is in kindergarten, because a 5-year-old would be in kindergarten or nursery, right? So what primary school do you think would be best to position this child to go to that Ivy League college, right? Ivy League schools are in US. So maybe your own is UK you want, whatever place you want, but just consider it now and start to plan it. So you're breaking it down. As you're breaking it down, it's helping you. So that when it's time,
plan your money.
Exactly, you start to plan your money. And so that when you get to each step, you know what to do. If you know that it was a UK education you were going for, by the time you're looking for how to put your child in secondary school, you know which kind of secondary school to put the child in. You know the one that would help in preparation for British education. If it was University of Benin you wanted your child to go to, or Covenant University you wanted your child to go to, whichever school, whichever one. I mean, this is not limited to anything. Just whatever you want is valid. Whatever your dream for your child is valid. Sit down and do not use, like I always say, don't use another person's watch to tell your time. Don't look at your other neighbor's dreams for their children, for yourself. Write your own. Write it down. And remember what I said, this is my 5-step plan, is the coaching something. There's one step that comes before it. Pray. Prayerfully ask God. I said that at the beginning. Prayerfully ask God, what is it you want for this child? What is it you want me to do for this child? Where do you want me to direct this child to? So when you're prayerfully, you've received your answer in prayer, that's when you now write it down. Okay? And sometimes you'll be praying and you have not yet gotten an answer, so you can have a placeholder. So just write something. Don't tell me that you're praying, you have not heard, that's why you're not having to write something down. Let it be a placeholder. And as you they said the vision gets clearer in the doing. As you're breaking it, as you're writing down, God will be supplying the gaps. All right. So don't feel like, Lord, let this child go to Harvard University. It doesn't quite work like that. It's not every time God will answer you in that way. So Just write something down. Okay, then break it down, expand it, like I said. So what school do you need to go to, what time, how much do you need to put together? Or if you wanted to do a scholarship, what do you need to be doing now to get the child positioned for a scholarship? You know, there's some things that they say, oh, you must have this and have that. Please go back. Oh, I've not finished that last slide.
No, I know it was an accident.
Okay, so what do they need to, what do they need to be doing now? Do you need to be doing extracurricular? Do you need to be doing art, music, sports? What is it? What are the options? And how are you, preparing the child for it? So all these are the breaking it down. Then the next one is to make a plan. That is to put dates in that breakdown that you had in step 2. So when you were breaking it down, you were like, okay, I want the child to go to this school, go to that school, do this, do that. You're going to be having dates. Now, for us Catholics, now there are some things that we'll still put into our plans. For example, my child has to do First Holy Communion. So what date is that? So, I mean, for me, for example, now my son is going to be 10 and he's in year 5, so he's going to year 6. I had to make sure that we do First Holy Communion this year, because by the time we enter year 6 next year, we will not have time on Saturdays to be going for catechism class, right? Because on Saturdays in year 6, you'll be doing common entrance. It is a plan. We had it on board. So we could not make mistake and make sure that we don't miss it. If you miss it, that's the further notice. Do you understand? So you have to plan it. You have to break it down. You have to put dates. You have to be very intentional about it. Then the next step is to get accountability. And now accountability sounds like such a buzzword, such a big word. Like, do I have to go and get a coach? No. Yes, you may, but you can also get accountability from your friends, from your sister, from, just people around you. From your spouse, there's so much around you that you can use. People are always limiting themselves on what they don't have. You say, I don't have money for a coach. Hey, please, hey. What do you have? You may have one friend around you that you don't even use mouth to tell her something. Once you tell her, I want to do this, she's on your case, following you up. Have you used that friend? Have you given her your goals?
Stop calling my name.
Yes, it's your name. I have a friend in Italy like that. Have you used those friends? Or you think their wallet is too much, you don't be dodging them? Well, go and then if you don't want to use them, go and pay coach. But the point is get accountability. And it could be a group of friends, it could be 2 people, you and one person, it could be anything, but you must get somebody to say, this is what I want to do, this is my plan, and please help me make sure that I stick to it. Because you know why accountability is so important? Life happens. So many things could happen. You'll just be going about, something major. Maybe a death of one parent, or one thing, or loss of a job, or something, or maybe even good things. If a good one goes, thing will come into your life like this, that you're just so filled up, you don't even remember your plans. So accountability will help you to stick to the things that are most important. So get accountability. And the last but not the least is commit to your goal. To be honest, this is the most important one, because you can hire the fanciest coach. You can hire, you can get all your friends and all your family on your case. But if you yourself are not committed, they would only be reminding you, you just like, I'll do it. And then next year will come to next year, this year will come to next year. And something as simple as doing First Holy Communion, it will remind you every year for 5 years, we know I've done it. Do you understand? So you have to be committed to your own goal. Yeah. So you have to be committed to your own goal, which is why I said, write it down. And when you're writing that, it's coming from you. So it's not us that gave you job. It's you that use your own hand to set yourself goals. So you have to be ready to be committed to it. Okay? All right. Next slide.
So it's setting up. But while we're waiting, I want to also say that,
I'm not feeling the goal. People should be giving me some responses. Let me be sure that.
In our chat?
Let me show I'm communicating.
Hello, people. See chat messages, we're not moving forward. How far has it been inside? Oh, you're already having questions. Okay, put your questions, hold them down. We'll address them in the question and answer session, right? And while we're waiting, I was going to say every stage of this journey is one that you can put up in prayer to God. When you want to write it down, you don't know what to write, ask God. When you want to commit to it and you don't know how to commit, ask God. These are things that we're here in the godly parenting thing. We're not doing anything without him.
Absolutely.
Just to put that in there.
Thank you. Okay, thank you. I'm seeing all the love. Thank you. Thank you. Exactly. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Absolutely. Good, you guys are not feeling it. Because I was like, am I talking to myself? What's going on? Okay, so yes, I now know that you guys are fully. Thank you. So let's go on. So how do you start designing your parenting journey? So this is for those people, people that are just starting a family. You are the most blessed of all people. Just be thanking God that you're hearing this message at this time. So you have it easiest, okay? You can implement everything that you learn right from the beginning. So number one, write down the number of children you want to have and how you intend to space them. Now, you don't want to wake up and say, I did not know that's how child came or that's how child. Hello, Nigeria is hard enough as it is. Please plan your family. And I'm not here saying that you must use one side of contraceptive or another. There are natural ways of planning your family because you have to plan your family. That's my own. Plan your family. Plan how many children you want to have. Sit down with your spouse and discuss and agree. And plan your family because there's so many children are littering roads from parents that did not intend to have them, did not know whether they needed to have them, and they're not causing problem on the road for us. So please plan your children, okay? We are all responsible parents here. We're not one of those people that have children down the road, but you don't want to have more children that you can cater for. So you don't start to become a burden to your entire family. When it's time for school fees, you'll be writing letter to the whole family. Help me, oh, help me. You don't want to do that. So plan the number of children you want to have and how you intend to space them. For those of us that are working, you know that you don't want to be taking maternity leave every year. So you tell yourself what you need to do. Okay, maybe I'll give space between this one and that. Whatever it is you want to do, do it. Or if you are one of those people that say, oh, I'm marrying late, I'm getting married at 35, 38, whatever, I want to quickly rush my children while my eggs are still viable, that's fine. But just know what you are doing, plan it. So rush your children if you want to rush your children. But no, don't come and be saying, I didn't know what happened, this one came. Although it happens to the best of us, mistakes will still happen. But mistakes are reduced when you have a plan, unlike when you don't.
Yes, and mistakes are mistakes because they are one-offs. They are not.
Yes.
You can't be having a mistake. I have five mistakes.
So they will not say I did not say so, Number two, plan for their growth in these areas. So now the areas are plenty. I was talking about school the last time, and that's really just one area. That's academics. The children are all encompassing in many, many ways. You have to plan for their spiritual growth. I talked to you about Holy Communion and confirmation classes. That's for we Catholics. If you're Pentecostal, is your child going to do disciple classes? Whatever. What is it that they need to do? What is their spiritual growth going to be like? When do you need them to have started studying the Bible on their own? When do you need them? At what age should they have started praying on their own? At what age should they have started going for whatever? Plan their spiritual growth. Then plan for their physical growth. So this one is like definitely when children start to grow, if you're having girls, you're going to be thinking about when are they going to start their period, when are they going to start having the conversations about sex education, when are you going to start having talk about, when do you start to buy bras, when do you start to buy, all of those things are part of the plan. For the academic growth, we know what it is. Schools, what schools do they go to? Where would they end up? How do they go here and there and here? For sports, for their talents. Now, you need to know, maybe in your family, you guys have a sport that you like. You can try to plan for them to start that. And if they find out and they show you that they have interest in any other sports, all well and good. But at least start to have a plan for them to have a base for learning sports. What of their talents. Now, this one, you have to sit and watch the children first to find out what they came with. Because all of them, children are not quite empty tablets, like people think, that they come into the world empty and you that writes on them what they become. It's not like that. So they come fully formed. God, in his infinite goodness, creates them fully formed, packs them with everything that they need for their life journey. So your own job is to hone everything. They are not blank state, they're very unblank. They are, in fact, very loaded. And so you now need to watch, identify the talent that your children came with and help them to hone this talent. I have friends whose children are doing excellent in gymnastics, ballet, funny things that the mother is like, me, never. I could never have done that. So they just come on their own. So it's now your job to watch and then hone the skills. Extracurricular activities, what do they, but that can also pass for talents. Some of their gifts as well. Then their careers, you plan their careers as much as you can in terms of what you think that they can do based on what they're showing as their talents and gifts, right? Of course, by the time they grow older, they can decide to choose it or not choose it. Says you, done your own, prayerfully offer them to God. That this is how you wanted to, maybe you saw a child, like when I was young, It's amazing. In my family, when I was younger, we're 5 children. I'm the third of 5 children. And the first one we're still small. Oh. Like, I remember I was like 5 years old when we already knew that my sister wanted to be a doctor, my brother wanted to be an engineer. And they were looking at me like, what do you want to be? I was 5 years old. Like, why should this be an important conversation? So I was like, I don't know what I wanted to be. And I just thought that I didn't want to be a doctor or an engineer because my two siblings had picked that. So I was wondering, what else could I be? Now, at the time, I was very literate. So I used to tell a lot of stories. I used to write short stories. I used to tell a lot of stories anyway. So they thought that I was going to be a lawyer. It turned out that not long after that, my father was building his house and decided to bring plans home. And I was so intrigued by the drawings. And I was like, Daddy, what is this? He said, well, the plans for my house. I said, oh, who does this? He said, architect. I said, I want to be an architect. I had no idea what it took. I didn't know. I just liked the name of the thing. I was like, I will be an architect. And, you know, it was very funny because I was little. Then I used to start to build. I was building houses with cardboard boxes, what we call cartons. So I used to build those cartons, right? And I'll make demarcations. This is the living room. This is the bedroom. I would even use matchboxes to create sofas, create beds. I'll put little stone people. This is the father, the mother, you know, and I'll be playing with it. My siblings would love it and say, oh, build one for me. And even at that age, I could build different houses for each person. So my own house would be different from the one I build for you next with carton boxes, like literally. So you would think that my parents would see that I wanted to be an architect, Abby? No. Do you know that when I got to secondary school, I did everything that I needed to do, right? And I was doing, I did everything I needed to do. I was doing the right subjects. I did math, further maths, I did technical drawing. I did all the works. And I was set on the path to become an architect. People of God, when it was time to write my JAMB, I now told my mother that I wanted to do architecture, that she should fill JAMB form for me. My dear, some children that are 15 don't know. Don't stress your son that is 7. It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything. They will figure it out as they go.
Some adults still don't know, or you're just
exactly
giving them as much opportunity as they go ahead.
Just opening them to opportunities and showing them. And the reason why I'm telling you this story was it was very funny that I thought I already knew what I wanted to be, right? But by the time I wanted to write my JAMB form, by the time I was filling my JAMB form, I wanted to write JAMB. I took the phone to my mom and I told her I wanted to be an architect. Do you know what she said? So what's that? What is architect? Who are architects? I don't even know even one architect that has money. I bet you cannot be an architect. That with all this, your maths and science brain, you should be an engineer. At the time, what was in vogue? Somebody needs to mute.
Okay. Yeah, I'm trying. Okay, done.
Okay. So at that time, what was in vogue was oil companies, right? So she was like, with this your smartness, you should just be in an oil company. So go and study an engineering course, one of the engineering courses, so that you can go into oil company and all of that. And I was like, no, I want to be an architect. And she said she wasn't going to sign the form. So I had to write chemical engineering in my JAMB form under duress, and we submitted it. Do you know that I passed that JAMB? I passed very well. I think I got 270 something, I can't remember. But I passed. At the time, it was very good pass. So I was supposed to enter University of Benin because that's what we had written, right? For chemical engineering. Now, fun fact, my father's best man was the DVC ACAD in University of Benin at the time. His wife was a senior lecturer in chemical engineering department. Please. And I passed. I'm from Edo State, University of Benin's catchment area. You would think that this should be a no-brainer. I should enter once, right? No. First, this person, please mute. You're distracting me. Just turn off your video if it's giving us, there's background noise. So,
yeah.
What I now did was, I didn't get in. I didn't get into University of Benin. First batch came, my name wasn't there. Second, in fact, I went to the board. I remember going to the board and I saw one boy's name there. I can never forget. The boy is an Igbo boy. And he had 247, and he got into mechanical engineering. I had 270. I'm an Edo girl. In Edo States, I didn't get in. I was pained, and I was like, okay, no problem. I'll enter second batch. Second batch, my name didn't come out. Third batch, I was supposed to be VC's list. Okay, now DVT card can simply start in my name, right? It did not come out. Guys, there was not a problem. So my mom had to go to ECOMA. There's an university in Benin. There's another university in Edo State that's called Ambosale University now. At the time, it was Edo State University. So she went there and she went to meet my dad to say, we have a problem. We need to get this guy into school. And you know what they did? They went to look for my dad's friend, who was Dean of Engineering. Now, Dean of Engineering was not on seats that day. There was no mobile phone at the time, so they couldn't find him. My mother said, I'm not leaving this town until you give this guy admission. So my father said, okay, there's one more person he can meet. And he went to see somebody called the Dean of Students. On getting to the guy's office, the guy looked at him and said, oh, she wants to do engineering. Well, meet SK. So we're coming from SK's office, is not there. He answered, then he took another look at my results and said, oh, she did technical drawing. She did further maths. But do you know she can do architecture? And my father said, you know what? The girl has always talked about architecture. I really don't know how this jump from issuing engineering right now, because he was not in town when my mom forced me to write in that. So he now said, my mother said, I believe she wants to do engineering. My father said, no. Sorry, sir, why are you asking us about architecture? And the man said, I have the list of architecture on my table right now. It's the third and final batch. I'm about to send it to Abuja. I will not need to ask anybody. She already has all the requirements. I will just need to add her name to the list and she will get the admission. And my father said, do it. And people of God, that's how I went on to study architecture. I was in the third and final batch. People had already started lectures before I started. And in fact, it's just been God all the way. What am I saying? God already has a plan for your children. And if you don't seek it, you will just be going around the
circle. If you tell them that Brenda,
yes,
you tell them you're the best graduating student in your certification nationwide.
I just say I should not be proud. I was just saying that, the way the story was going, let not be as if I was trying to turn, but to be honest, guys, I graduated best in my BSc. I graduated best in my MSc. When I even did my professional exams 10 years after, I was the best in the whole nation in that batch. So people of God, it had been written for me to study architecture. Even when my mother had thoughts that she knew better and wanted to derail me, it was not to be. So when you're designing your children's journeys, ask God. Otherwise, you'll be going around in circles. Is this my mother that I've started running around looking for admission when our plan did not work, Abby? So I don't have to run around. Just ask God. This is your shade. What's your plan? Okay? Good. Now, when you have written out all those plans, you need now to outline the how. And which is what I said in my 5-step plan. Break it down. Break it down. So. Here. It's God. It's only God. Honestly. And I didn't really plan to tell that story. I don't know how it came up, but I think somebody needed to hear that. Now, for this next set of people, which I'm sure most of us belong to, how do you start designing your parenting journey when you already have children? So it's not quite as straightforward as the other one, but it's still doable. I mean, we are all doing it, so we have to do it. Number one, list your children and their ages, right? So now you're going to be listing. I thought I was going to do a slide where I would show an example, but I was a little lazy. Maybe we'll discuss it in the WhatsApp group later. I will share a template for you later. I was a little lazy to
put the template in the WhatsApp group.
If he hounded me for this slide. If you haven't
joined our WhatsApp group, you're missing a lot.
Yes, absolutely. You should join the WhatsApp group so that we can, have some more conversation on this. But anyway, list your children and their ages. List where they are in terms of spiritual, in terms of physical, in terms of academic, in terms of sports. The sports, talents, extracurricular, just lump it together. In terms of, the other activities, their careers, the marriage skills that they should possess, and even just life skills generally. Okay. Because, for example, I did this analysis for my children the other day, and I was saying to myself, some of them, this one needs to learn how to cook. This one needs to learn how to, wash, launder, do this kind of thing. Because sometimes, okay, let me dial back a little. I went to a school one time. I was looking for school for my child, and I was still debating whether I wanted boarding or not boarding when my first child went to enter secondary school. And this school I went to said, I asked them, do you have a boarding school? They said, yes, they do have boarding. I said, okay, so what kind of tasks do the children do in boarding school? They say, what do I mean? I said, do they have we went to boarding school now, we had morning duty, like, and I was like, what kind of duty do children? They said, no, they don't do that. They don't do any of that. They said, actually, their mates around the world are busy doing things like robotics and cool. They don't need to be stressing themselves about how to wash and clean because, there'll be washing machines and there'll be dishwashers and things. And I was like, I should come and pay money for you to come and help me spoil my child for that. No, thank you. So there are some skills that everybody needs to have, and they are life skills. Okay. So some life skills like swimming, cooking, just taking care of yourself.
Exactly. Taking care of yourself.
Because if you don't take care of yourself, I mean, who are you going to be expecting? The other day I was talking to my son. I took him on a, sorry, give me a minute. Sorry, just me.
Yeah, so while she's attending to that, life skills are indeed chores. Ijoma said life skills start with chores, and yes, they do start with chores. So sometimes while we might not need them, we know they are going to wash clothes in their washing machines, maybe in their houses, because we're praying for them to be successful, right? So you're asking yourself, why should they need to manually wash clothes? They do, not because they need to necessarily learn how to use their hands to wash, but because of the discipline that is involved in doing certain tasks.
Absolutely.
And once you're able to discipline yourself in certain small ways, you're able to replicate that in larger ways. So those are the essences of different chores and life skills that we give our children.
Absolutely. I remember that the other day, my son was going for a camp, and I told him, "Oh, you're going for this camp. You're going to learn how to." It was a boys' camp. You're going to learn how to iron, how to cook, how to do this, do that, knot a tie, many different things. I was thinking, it's really exciting. And he said to me, "Why are we going to learn things that girls are supposed to be doing?" I said, "Yeah, but my life." I said, "Who said to?" Like, it was even his sisters that answered him for me. They were like, "What? What did you just say?" As everybody else sat him down, like, "Oh yeah, say that again. Where did you get that from?" He was the most shocking thing of my life. I was like, my own child. Oh my God, how did this happen? So we had to ask him, why do you think these are things for girls? And because my children in my house, the girls are older than the boys. So it would seem like the girls are the ones doing the work, before they are old enough to get their own share of the work. But I'm thinking, no, this has to change. Oh yeah, everybody into the kitchen. All of you boys, girls, everybody, are you going to go and say this in public? I'm finished. There goes your feminism mother.
The whole women advocate like you.
I almost fainted, my sister. I was like, hey, these children will tear your wife. So, I mean, I had to have the conversation with him. And it was really enlightening to wonder why he was thinking that. And which is why I always tell parents that we need to model. It's not his fault. His father does not do it. It's not his fault. Not saying his father does the work. And, our father is busy. He's always out of town. He's traveling. So he doesn't see him do chores. So in his head, it's not a man thing. So I had to talk to him and tell him that, okay, so even if you thought it was something for your wife, do you have wife? Let's just start there. You don't even have a wife, and you're not going to have a wife anytime soon. So in that time before you get the wife, who will be doing these things for you? He was not looking at me. I said, you see, it's why you have to do it. So it now made sense to him. And I was like, we have to tighten our belts on this matter. So yeah, modeling is important. And you have to also plan all of these life skills from chores, because they learn a lot of things. They learn a lot of things from cooking. They learn a lot of things from, they learn discipline, they learn measurement, they learn a lot of things from cooking, and even other skills like cleaning, time management, when they have to do their chores and do their schoolwork and do all of this, they build those skills. So it's important. Now, you're going to write where they are in each of these things that you think they should possess, right? And then write the vision for where you want them to be. And you could do this in 10, 20, 5-year gaps. The one I'm presently working with is a 5-year plan. And so I have a skill for them where I want them to be in 5 years. And it's obvious. You obviously just see the gaps, right? So you're going to be doing the gap analysis. Yes, they learn organizational skills from chores as well. Absolutely, Ijoma. So you now see the gaps. So you do the gap analysis and see what you need to do, where you need to make up. So some children are better than others in some areas. Some need more work in some areas. So it's individual for each of the children. We have 4 children, our work is plenty. So if you have to be thanking God, Just do the work for each child. Remember that each child is different, okay? Now, prepare a detailed plan to get them there. And when I say detailed plan, you need to know, okay, if you want your child to be able to cook soups and stews and everything by so age, look for where the child is at and know how many weeks you have or how many months you have to that time and start to make a plan of what they're going to be learning each. Do you understand? If you, okay, this month we're going to learn to cook stew, you will teach her the first week, the next week she will do it herself, the next week she will try it again, the third, something like that. A detailed plan of how to get them
He
there.
will try it himself too.
It's my senior shade, it's my head. This is, but of course.
I know, my dear. But we know we have mommies with children that are men are very born.
Yes, so please, he or she, because they will all have to plan. If I let me be using they, but I don't want to be using they, so we're not sounding like those people. But he or she.
No, we're not doing it.
He or she. Okay. And sometimes the detailed plan to get them there would include classes. It may include courses that they have to take, like skills that they have to pick up, things you need to teach them yourself deliberately. I remember one time my child was about maybe 7 and I told her, go and sweep up and she was looking. I was like, you cannot sweep at age of 7. And I was wondering, she now asked me, did you teach me how to sweep? I was like, shots fired. I was like, shots fired. Mommy, you did not teach. I had to expect her to know. So you have to deliberately teach some of these skills. Don't just think that by the time your child is this age, you should miraculously know how to do something. Have you taught them? Right? And some of the things they need to go to outside classes to learn. Maybe you want your child to pick up baking and you cannot bake. You should go and pay for someone to teach them how to bake. Go and pay for someone to teach them how to do hair making. Pay for someone to teach them how to swim. Some of them will require outside classes and courses. Some of them, even emotional and soft skills. Some of them you can pay for courses. Summer is coming. In this time for summer, the long summer break is coming. You can sit down after doing your gap analysis, determine what you want your summer break to be. Summer break should not only be maths and English. In fact, it should not be maths and English. Pack schoolwork to one side and use your summer break to actually learn other skills that can help them. Okay, so sit down, do that gap analysis and plan for what they will pick up in this summer. Remember, each child is different, so each child should have their journey designed separately. Okay, next slide, please.
Yeah, just 1 second.
Yeah.
Okay. I believe.
Yeah. So blank slates that should know how to see. Sure, you know.
I believe we're there.
Okay, I was going to go and look at slides. Don't mind me, I was looking at chat. Okay, I'm back. Now, show example. And to be honest, when you're making this plan for your children, it may look tough. It may be tough at the beginning to try and get them into a regimented life to be able to get, some sort of thing going on. But a way to model this is for yourself to even put a plan for yourself as well. Make a plan for your own growth, for your own improvement, and let them see you doing it, right? Let them see you taking classes, let them see you doing something, have a conversation with them, especially when you have older children. Because for the small ones, it's easy, it's very easy. This is what we're going to do now, everybody will follow, right? But if you already have teenagers and they're not used to being told all of these things, you just want to start now, you may receive a lot of resistance, but don't despair. Have a conversation with them and tell them this is the plan, this is where we're going to, and this is what we're trying to achieve. This is also my own plan for myself. I need you to help me, hold me accountable while I hold you accountable for your own. And so, just make it like, they feel, and children are very good at holding you accountable. So they will like it. Okay, mommy will let you know you're not doing your own. So they'll be happy to do that. So show yourself an example. Do things that you ordinarily want to do. Push yourself out of your comfort zone so that you are, doing something, and they also feel the need to say, oh, my mom is able to do this, I can do it too, and then come out and do it. Or my dad is able to do this, I can do it too. Okay. Number 7, if all of these things have been seen seems to complicate it for you, you can just hire a coach. Like my darling friend Ify, is a beautiful parenting coach. She can help you. And in fact, she helps me to break down, she gave me tips on how to do these things when I first had the conversation with her. So she can help you to break down the steps, when you've drawn out your vision. But the vision has to come from you. You have to know where you're going to. She's not going to help you to be thinking of vision for your child because your child is not her child. So get your vision and then go to a coach to help you to break down the steps so that you have something to work with. And number 8, remember that you are not alone. The journey may be hard, the journey may be tough, but we have a beautiful community that exists to help you in your journey, right? And you always get support and advice from everybody in the group when you seem overwhelmed. Just remember the vision. What is your why? Why are you pushing this agenda? Why are you struggling? Why are you trying to make your children do this thing? Why? When you remember the why, it will give you more energy and more impetus to keep going. Because sometimes the road is just tough. You just want to just sleep. Like, do you know what? I don't care they don't make their beds today. I just want to sleep. But when you remember the why, you're trying to build children that are independent, that are organized, that are this, that are that. You just remember, Mama, this life is not for the lazy. It's not for the sleeping. Get up. A little sleep, a little slumber, and what does the Bible say? But poverty will overtake you. They want poverty to overtake us or our children. So you stand up, you give yourself some ginger again, encourage yourself in the Lord, and continue what you have to do. Remember, we're always here for you. We'll keep you gingered when you come and share your story with us, and we'll give you all the ginger that you need. And that why, and that your goal will keep you propelled on the days when you are exhausted. So remember this scripture, and so I am surely confident that God, who began this good work in you, carry it on until it is finished on the day of Jesus Christ. God who gave you the zeal to even write the vision in the first place, gave you the zeal to even start the plan in the first place. He would help you to definitely complete the work, right? Do we still have any more slides? Let me see.
I believe.
Okay. Number 8. There's still number 8.
Yeah.
Now, this is a very important one. It says, remember that parenting begins with you. Deal with your demons, work on yourself, improve yourself so that you can be whole, so that you can raise whole children. Many of us are dealing with a lot of trauma, a lot of bad habits, and we are expecting our children to miraculously be better. I mean, there are many parents who you'll be in the car with your children. You'll be calling somebody on the phone. The person will call you and say, I'm at home. Why are you in the car? Going somewhere. Then tomorrow your child will lie, you'll be beating child. How can you lie? We don't lie in this family. Hello, handsome. But you just show the child that you will lie. It's as simple as that. Or you are lazy, you don't even make your own bed in the morning. Then you come up and shout at children, make your bed when I wake up. Hello, mommy, you have not even made your own bed. So it's all about you improving your own self, dealing with your own demons, working on yourself to become better so that you can ask your children to do better. Of course, sometimes we all have to learn together at the same time. You have to be growing yourself and growing them at the same time. So, but if you're even showing the effort, showing they're putting in the effort, you can tell them. Like Ayo told us that they be open with your children enough to tell them that, look, see, I don't have it all figured out. Okay, I'm learning on the job. I did not have any manual with which to raise you. So I may have made a lot of mistakes. I don't have it all figured out, but here's what I'm doing. And I trust that you trust me enough to know that I love you and we're going to work at this together. So you just, as much as you can, work on yourself, improve yourself, show that you're working. So the children will also be encouraged to work on themselves. Because they copy you is more of do as I do, not as much as do as I say. You can talk from now to next year. If what you're saying is not what you're doing, it's just going to be passing here and coming from here because they're seeing you. One day they're old enough to tell you that, but mommy, this is not what you're doing. This thing you said you should do is not what you're doing. And you now start looking foolish. So as much as you can, build yourself, work on yourself to be the person that you want them to be. Because number one is that there's an age your children get to where you now become a role model to them and not necessarily a parent. So you must be able to become like a role model, a coach, an influencer in their life at some point. So if they cannot look at you and see something to be influenced by, something to model, they may not listen to you. They will not really listen to you. So this is why we do all the things that we do. This is why we try to build ourselves and improve ourselves, and so that our children can look at us and be proud. I mean, my daughter told me that I did that. I'm with my friends. My friends in my school say they are very pretty. They really like you. Oh, they say your mom is always this, your mom is always that. I say, yes. So when I'm going to their school, I take extra care to dress up because I have plenty of fans there, and my daughter's rep is at stake. So, but it's all part of it. It's all part of building yourself, all part of, making yourself whole so that you can raise whole children. The world deserves whole children from you. You don't want to be the reason why another person's child is crying at night and doing midnight prayer or doing fasting because of the child that you gave her to marry. You don't want to be the one. So please, this is so important. If you think about your own demons, if you think about the struggles you have in your own marriage, the struggles you have with your own spouse, you would want to do better. You would want to do better. You'd tell yourself that I owe the world better children. So this is really just my way of encouraging us, but that's my own why personally. I don't know about you, but that's my personal why, to say, you know what, I cannot be the one. I mean, here I am telling you that I'm so passionate about women's empowerment. I cannot not be the one that raised a child that will cause another woman to cry in the night. God forbid. That is my personal why.
Food for thought. I believe that's the end of. Oh boy. Guys, first of all, can we respect architect Brenda for keeping to, in fact, staying ahead of schedule like a typical architect would? So if she's building your house for you, know that you finish your house ahead of schedule. Can meet her in her DM so that you build house ahead of schedule. Please, can you show her some love in the group? Please, did we love what she said? Did it resonate? Show some love in the chat. Thank you so much. And if you have questions,